Back to Turkey, President Trump imposing sanctions over Turkey's refusal to release a jailed American pastor. Now, the Turkish president says the U.S. is looking to stab it in the back. Come in, former U.S. ambassador to Turkey, Ross Wilson. You should know better than many, sir, that these are difficult times. You say that these sanctions are risky. Why?
Well, I see two sets of risks playing out now. One has to do with a relationship that's been very important to the United States over many years, and important to Turkey for that matter. Actions both countries are taking that put that relationship at risk that I think will damage American interests. The second set of risks have to do with broader contagion effects that Turkey's downward economic spiral already seems to be having with other emerging markets. And if a contagion really gets going, it will affect the U.S. economy both directly in terms of our export markets around the world and indirectly in terms of its potential impact on the broader international financial system on which our country depends. Clearly, very tough times. Matters need to be handled quite carefully, I think, on both sides.
But it's a very difficult time because President Erdogan, as we know, has wanted to be what he called a model Muslim democracy. And I question that by itself, but he's crushed the independent media, he's jailed journalists, he's jailed his critics, has effectively taken control of all the government institutions. I mean, this sounds like a dictator if ever there was one, and I understand the importance of its position in the world. It has Iran and Syria, but this is a difficult individual who seems to be going in the wrong direction when it comes to democracy.
The problem of authoritarianism in Turkey and Erdogan in particular that you've referred to, obviously a very serious one, and it has contributed quite substantially to the downward spiral of U.S.-Turkish relations that goes back a number of years. Yeah. It doesn't change the fact that Turkey is and remains and can continue to be a valuable asset for the United States in defense and security matters, in intelligence cooperation, in economics and trade. It's one of a relatively small number of countries with which the United States has a favorable balance of trade. Surplus. Right. So I think there are ways to manage the problems that Turkey presents and to try to do what we can to counter the authoritarian drift that's clearly underway there. Again, managing those challenges effectively is a big challenge.
Very quickly, I got 10 seconds. Do we get the pastor back, or does Erdogan dig his heels in?
Tough to say. Certainly, the smart approach on his part would be to cut his losses, arrange for the release of Pastor Brunson and other American that are held.
All right. We shall follow carefully. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry it was so quick. We really appreciate it.